Hey folks, welcome to my channel Number Pen. So there we have the problem on our screen. Differentiate the following. Fourth root of t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1. Right? So we have a function of the type u by v, but it is sitting inside the fourth root. Right? And my y looks a little complex out here. So can I make a substitution initially to get rid of the fourth root? So what is that substitution that I can make? So let us do that. To eliminate the fourth root, I'm going to make a simple substitution of t cube divided by t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1 equals u to the power 4, right? So let me write that as step 1. Right now, what happens to my y now? My y becomes fourth root of u to the power 4, which is nothing but u, right? So what is my dy by du? So my dy by du becomes 1, right? And we've got some work to do with our u. My dy by du is equal to 1, and I'm going to move to the next step and spend some time talking about this particular expression t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1, right? So this is a rational expression of the type p by q, where we have p and q in terms of t, right? So what is my du by dt, right? So let's work out that. I differentiate on either side, right? And when I do that, what do I get? My u to the power 4 becomes 4 times u cube but into du by dt, right? So let us write that. And why is that? D by dx of x to the power n equals n into x to the power n minus 1, right? Right. So I differentiate on either side. I get 4 times u cube into du by dx into du by dx, and then that becomes equals to, I'm sorry, du by dt, and I will have to differentiate this particular expression, right? Let me highlight it in yellow. T cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1, right? And this is of the type u by v, right? As in a by b, or, we can directly apply the quotient rule in differentiation, right? So I'm going to directly apply the quotient rule out here. So what does my quotient rule state? When I have a function of the type a by b, right, then what is my derivative, right? That is what my quotient rule states. This is my quotient rule. If my f of x equals a by b, my a equals to my numerator, which is nothing but t cube plus 1, right? In this case, we will have f of p here, and then my d equals t cube minus 1. What is my f dashed of a by b is nothing but b a dashed minus a b dashed divided by b square, right? So what is my b here? My b is t cube minus 1. So all that I will have to do is write the denominator first, which is t cube minus 1 the whole square. So let me do that. T cube minus 1 the whole square. And then I have my A and B with me, but I will have to figure out what is my A dashed and B dashed, right? And what is my A dashed? My A is t cube plus 1, so my A dashed is nothing but dt square, right? And what is my B dashed? My b is t cube minus 1. So what is my b dashed? My b dashed is again 3t square. And why is that? I'm applying some rule in differentiation. So my d by dt of t cube is 3t square and of minus 1 is 0. Therefore, I get my b dashed equal to 3t square, right? So there I have all that I want. I have my a, b, I have my a dash, b dash. So all that we will have to do is go back and do the substitution in this particular expression, right? So my b a dashed is nothing but t cube minus 1 into t square, right? Because that's my a dashed. Let's write it out for e, right? And then I have my minus of ab dashed. What is my a? My a is t cube plus 1. So let's write that out as well. And then my b dashed is nothing but 3t square, right? So looks like I have 3t square as a common factor. I'm going to pull out my 3t square in the next step. So I have my 3t square as a common factor. And then I open my bracket. I have a t cube minus 1 minus of t cube. I have a t cube minus 1 minus of t cube plus 1, right? And remember, folks, I still have my denominator, which is t cube minus 1 the whole square. Looks like I have an opportunity to cancel out my t cube, and I'm left with minus 2 in this part of, let me move to a different color. I'm representing this in green now. So I have minus 2 into 3t square, which makes it minus 6t square divided by t cube minus 1 whole square, right? So that's my answer, but not for du by dt, because I'm just drawing your attention to what we have on the left of the screen. On the left of this particular expression, we don't have a du by dt. What we have is a 4u cube du by dt, right? So what do I do to represent everything in the form of t, right? So my du by dt, I move to the next step, is nothing but this expression as it is into 1 by 4 u cube, right? 1 by 4 times u cube. And now I know what to do. I'll have to go back and substitute my u, because my du by dt has to be expressed as a function of t, right? So my first part of this expression remains as it is. And then I go and what is my u cube, right? My u to the power 4 is nothing but t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1, right? So what is my u cube, right? My u cube would be into 1 divided by 4 into u cube equals the whole power 3 by 4, right? This is what I get. So this is my u cube, right? My u to the power 4 equals t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1. And therefore, I raise to the power 3 by 4 on either side to arrive at my u cube, right? So this is my u cube, t cube plus 1 divided by t cube minus 1, the whole power 3 by 4. And this is the substitution I'm going to make out here. I go down here. This is the substitution that I will have to make. So that leaves me with an opportunity to cancel out a part of t cube minus 1, right? So what is that? I have my minus 6t square. I write it as it is. I have my 4 as it is, right? Though I know that 4 and 6, some factoring out there. And then I have my t cube plus 1, the whole power 3 by 4 as it is. So let me copy that and write it down first before I touch t cube minus 1 to the power 3 by 4. And then I have my t cube minus 1 whole square, which is this part, right? Let me highlight it in green. And then I have a t cube minus 1, the whole power 3 by 4 here, right? So I can write this out as t cube minus 1, the whole power 2 minus 3 by 4, right? And what is that? It is nothing but pi by 4, right? And then my 6 and 4 also has a common factor, which is 2. So let me remove that when I write my final expression. So my final expression will be, so there I have my du by dt. Take a minute to review this if we have done everything right. Yeah. So now I go back. I have my du by dt. I have my dy by du, which was 1. So let's recollect what we did earlier. My dy by du is equal to 1. My du by dt is this expression that we have, and let us now change the color to yellow. So my du by dt looks pretty complex. This is the final answer that I have, and my dy by du equals 1. So what is my dy by dt? Let me do this out here. So my dy by dt, which is what I'm expected to find, is nothing but dy by du into du by dt, right? Dy by du into du by dt. I know my dy by du, it is 1, so I do not have to worry about it. And I have my du by dt from the previous step, and that solves my problem. I have my final answer as minus 3 times t square divided by 2 into t cube plus 1 the whole power 3 by 4 into t cube minus 1 the whole power 5 by 4. Let me change the color to pink. So that's my final answer, folks, right? So I hope you found this content useful. Please do subscribe to my channel and support. Thank you.